Yeah, you're a funny guy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with Tyrone Mental and Hollister, and we're looking forward to this episode. We got the football about to start September 9th. Happy birthday to Tyrone. This is his birthday, and happy birthday to Hollister because it was his birthday
Thank
yesterday.
you. Thank you.
You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying?
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday to them
It's a
cats.
blessing. It's a blessing.
It's crazy. Their birthdays
Yeah.
like right next to each other.
One day apart.
apart.
This was yesterday, mine is today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to these cats. They already know what they are, but that's an internal joke.
Yeah.
Legendary, yes.
Yeah. But real quick, I know we said last week we're going to touch on the whole basketball and the vaccination thing. I don't want to get too much into it or get too political with it because obviously people have their feelings about it. But I just wanted to just ask the guys real quick, how do you guys feel about cities that require vaccinations to be indoors to play, like New York and other states like that, where if you don't have it, like if you're a player and you don't have your vaccine or vaccination, you can't play at your home. So if I'm in the Brooklyn Nets and I'm Kyrie or I'm KD and I'm not vaccinated, I can't play home games. I only can play in the cities or the states that allow people to play with or without vaccination. So I wanted to get y'all guys' opinion on it, and then we can jump into the Paul Pierce and LeBron James thing. So we can go Mount Lake Hollister and time.
All right, yeah. So I'm not gonna get like too much into too much stuff, but what I would say is that it is probably it is not probably, it is very complicated and a dynamic thing that they have to navigate. So like you spoke to, right, there's certain cities that have mandates like New York and San Francisco and stuff like that, where in order to be in an arena and certain indoor things or to do certain like entertainment leisure activities, you have to be vaccinated, right? So it's okay, on the one hand, right, from what I read or what I seen is like, okay, so if you are a home team in those cities, you have to be pretty much, they're telling you have to be vaccinated or you can't perform the duties of your job. Now, I don't know if there's any labor rules or part of the CBA and all that other stuff, if that affects that. But basically, they're telling the players you can't play, at least at your home games, if you're not vaccinated. So that would be kind of weird, to imagine, like, let's say Kyrie is like, nah, I ain't with that. And then he playing only on road games and he can't play home games or something. Like, that's the kind of dynamic. Once again, I don't understand all the ins and outs, but that's what it appears could happen. Let's say if there is a player who has a really devout stance on it or whatever, for whatever reason, and they wouldn't be able to play in their home games in those markets. So either they would have to be traded or they would just sit out some games. It just creates a very kind of crazy and interesting dynamic where, yeah, I mean, essentially players in those mandated cities, they're pretty much saying you have to be vaccinated to be at your job, which I guess some people could look at it like, well, it should be fair. Like if I'm a fan, I can't go in the arena. Or if I'm other personnel, I can't go in the arena. Why should the players be able to do that in that city, right? So I know the city and the NBA probably is looking at it from that perspective. Like, look, if our fans can't be in the arena, if they're not, why, like, and this is the mandate for the city that they're in and they represent X, Y, and Z. I know they had the Nets do some kind of like PSA about vaccination. I don't know if all the players, I know Blake Griffin, a couple of other players was in it. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because I do feel like more cities are probably going to introduce mandates. So right now, it might be a player who's starting right now without that situation, and midway through the season, it could be, let's say, another mandate comes out, and then it's like, are they going to now? I just see this could be a very kind of, I mean, the pandemic is crazy and interesting enough. It's affected 2 seasons dramatically. I feel like this could be something affecting this next season as well. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a mandate throughout the whole NBA with all cities, regardless. But the only two states I don't see it happening is Texas and Florida because the governors there, they don't care about nothing. So I feel like the players will be able to do anything they want in Florida and Texas. But I know I was reading also too, they was saying like players that's not vaccinated, they will have to do like they have to sit on the bench elsewhere in the arena. They will have to like fly separately from the players that's vaccinated, eat separately, different hotels. Is a lot. So it's like I feel like they doing like what they doing with us is getting to a point like either you get it or you can't do the X, Y, and Z. In some ways, I hate to sound political like this. Feel like it's sort of like a segregation a little bit again. But it's like I don't know. It's like they want to play. I get it. They want to keep everybody safe and the fans as well too. But like, I wonder if it's like the star players if they not vaccinated, if the rules apply to them because certain rules don't apply to all the star players. But I feel like the NBA going to eventually mandate it for everybody, and I guess if they start to lose money from like certain players, they might work out something else. But like with these city mandates, we just got to see what happens next. It's crazy, but it's I guess you could say the new reality we living in now.
Facts. Tyrone?
Yeah, that star you talking about is people like LeBron James. I'll call his name out. I don't give a damn. Yeah, a guy like him, because you remember he had a little party and he was supposed to be in protocol in the Phoenix series and he wasn't. So maybe he should have been put in protocol. Then his little undefeated first round streak would have stayed alive. Because people would have been like, oh well, he didn't play, but he played and got bumped in the first round. But whatever. I'm the type of guy that I'm not a vaccination fan. I'm not a fan of the vaccine, but I respect people who get it, and I would never tell a person they shouldn't get it. That being said, I think the NBA and their rules with vaccines in certain cities, I think it's kind of fair because you don't want everybody in the league. You don't want a couple of players to get it and then the whole league gets it because it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business and it's ran and it makes millions and millions of dollars. So I can understand if they're very strict with the vaccination rules, but I could also understand and respect the players that don't want it, being the fact that I am not, I'm not pro-vaccine, but I think they should. You can't say, okay, some guys, if you want it, you can get it, and some guys you can't. It's a billion-dollar company. If they want either you could do things, you could come up with certain ways to do things. You could do the whole weekly testing or the daily testing. Something I really can't answer the question on whether I think it's right what they're doing, honestly, because me being a person of how I feel about the vaccination, I can't really tell people not to get it. And then I can't say, oh, go get it if I'm not the type of person that would go get it. So it's kind of hard for me to talk about it, really. But I respect everybody's decision, whether they want to get it or not, to be honest with you. But rules are rules. If they make it a rule that you have to get it, then they have to do it because, they're a part of a billion-dollar organization as like the NBA.
Got you.
That's all I can really say.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, look, I'm going to say this real quick. I'm just going to clarify something. None of us are anti-vaxxers. So in the sense that we don't believe, we don't believe in vaccinations and science and things like that. However, not all of us.
You mean we are anti-vaccination? You said none of us are not.
No. I know exactly what I'm saying. We're not anti-vaccine. We had vaccinations in the past. I will get a vaccination shot for something that's going to provide true immunity for something. However, what I'm saying is that for the case of this, and as far as COVID is about, there's a lot of unanswered questions that a lot of people have. So as Tyrone said, and everybody else kind of said, I respect everyone's decision, and I feel that it should be a decision. Now, I do agree with Tyrone. It is a business. It's $1 billion business, so I can understand the fear of losing, a season because of people having issues with COVID. However, if you look at it from this perspective, it's like, all right, last year they had a decent season. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the bubble. People played in their home arenas. They were able to have some fans, and they were doing testing. It wasn't a mandatory thing. And I feel that you're still going to have to do that because just because you're vaccinated, right, doesn't mean that you cannot get it. You cannot spread it. and you're not going to be sick. So my thing is that I still think they should continue with the testing, especially for the NBA players, and also, you know, have some type of leeway in a sense, because I think it's going to get to a point where if there's a lot of star players, because let's be honest, like Tyrone said, LeBron James was very, vague and with his whole stance with the vaccine when it first came out, and he said that's a personal decision, which he's 100% true. But it's a personal decision. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to divulge if he got it or be the poster child of getting it and stuff like that. And I don't think he's the only one. So I believe that there's going to be some other star players like that. And when you start looking at some of these home games, it's like 42 home games these teams be playing for the most part. And if these guys can't play at home, you lose money with fans, you lose money with TV deals. It's like, yo, something have to give. What they're gonna do? Have two bubbles? You know what I mean? Florida and Texas, because those are the only two states that allow players to play. So to me, I think it is like an NBA union type of issue, and I do feel that yes, everybody like there's some people who have to get the vaccination for their job, to attend classes in college, and it's mandatory. So I do understand the fact that you want to make it mandatory for the players as well. But seeing that some of these players have so much leverage and so much pull, I don't really see the rules being as, strict with multimillionaires. And also, I think there's other ways of taking care of this situation. Like I look at Joe Rogan, and I'm not advocating what he said or what he did, but he had recently had COVID. He did some other, holistic, in a sense, not holistic, but he did some other means of treating his COVID from other doctors, and he was recovered within the week. He had well, he does have money and access to other things, but he got, vitamin drip, you know what I'm saying, vitamin C directly in the bloodstream. He got some other, I forgot what it was, some prescription medicine that they took that's supposed to help stop viruses from replicating and spreading. And he took that, similar to what Trump did when he got COVID, and they kept it under wraps. And he recovered very fast. So there's other alternatives besides the vaccine. And I feel that to get people more on board, it needs to be more transparency. I think there's not enough transparency with the whole process of vaccinations. I just think most people did is tell them, get the vaccine and you'll be good, and not explaining to them these different things. And there's a lot of good information and there's a lot of misinformation out there. And it's like, you got to be very careful with dealing with that. But I'm not going to dive too much into it. But I do agree with you guys. I think that eventually it's going to be a full thing with the league. If you look at the app of the NFL, and let's be honest, I think that's the main reason why Cam Newton got the boot from the Patriots, because he was kind of on the stance of like, I don't want to get it. I don't see why I have to. I can test. I can do different things. And now they spin it, and it's a good segue to this LeBron James and Paul Pierce type thing, where these media outlets will spin a narrative about a player, an individual, to sweep certain things under the rug. So now we go to the Paul Pierce and LeBron James, and Paul Pierce exit from ESPN. So who has the deets on the story, so they can go ahead and shoot that out there so we can get started on that topic?
They were saying, Paul Pierce had a job with ESPN Countdown, and he was saying a lot of, making a lot of bold statements and saying things, and he was catching a lot of headlines with it, with the whole D Wade and him having a better career than D Wade, and they had this thing called the truth on the show, where he would just say something, how he feels, and I respect his opinion. But I believe it was a couple of months ago, or either last year or a couple of months ago. I'm not sure. I think it was last year, but he had a party in his house, and he had some strippers over. He had guys playing cards during the pandemic, I guess, whatever. And ESPN wasn't too happy about it because they're a Disney brand, and they're part of the Disney brand, and they didn't have. And me personally, because we never discussed it on the show. Me personally, listen.
I think we talked about it before. I'm not sure, but go ahead.
Nah, we didn't really address it. You actually, if I could remember correctly, you said something about it, but we never had a topic on it. We never really talked about it. I think something else happened during the time. But yeah, so he had the strippers or whatever over. He had a party. He's not married anymore, so it's not like he did anything to ruin his marriage and this, that, and the third. And honestly, I get everybody's. I understand what people, with the pandemic and how I went to a couple of gatherings, family gatherings during the pandemic, and it's hard to stay in the house all day and all night or whatever and not do anything. So, a couple of times I went out and did some stuff last year, but I see it was in his house. I'm pretty sure he was very careful. I have to respect a man like that. I understand. I can't get mad at him and say, oh, he was stupid for doing that and blah, 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 blah. But anywho, he had the party, and I guess ESPN wasn't very happy about it, and they let him go. But he had the attitude like, all right, that's fine. I don't care. And he left. So he did a Sports Illustrated interview about it, and he was talking about how ESPN, he didn't care when he got fired, and he pretty much was tired of doing what ESPN likes to do, which is have you talk about LeBron every day. He pretty much said, I was tired of talking about LeBron every day. And that's what took over the headlines, is that quote right there when he said he was tired of talking about LeBron all day. Yeah, so he was talking about ESPN. He was tired of talking about LeBron James every day. So he was a big rival of LeBron James with the Celtics when LeBron was still on Cleveland, and then they kept eliminating Cleveland. And then he went to Miami, and then he started to get the upper hand because, he had more talent around him. So they had a big rivalry. I heard there was an incident where they almost had a fight in 2004 when LeBron was a rookie. So I heard there was some situation where they had something in the locker room. So, it's personal between the two of them. So, but he's in, and I'll start off since I started talking. I see a lot of truth in what he's saying. ESPN does talk about LeBron damn near every other day. If they're not talking about the Dallas Cowboys, they're talking about LeBron, and it's the truth. And a lot of these guys that work for ESPN are friendly with LeBron James, like Kendrick Perkins, Richard Jefferson, the former Rachel Nichols. Like, a lot of them are connected with LeBron James. So a lot of them, they'll be there so they can give this narrative that he's this great person, and how high they put him in the rankings. You'll have guys like Perkins and them that'll always be there to make sure you keep talking about LeBron. So I understand what Paul Pierce was saying, and a lot of times people were hating on him and bringing up the whole rivalry with Paul Pierce, and the reason why, that's why he talk and acts, and people say, oh, he's being salty, because LeBron James fans, the first thing they say to you when you talk bad about LeBron is you're a hater. So they were saying he's a hater, but it's the truth. I believe everything he said. They want you to talk about him every day. You see it when you're watching the ESPN. Remember this: Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks are the world champions. Do y'all answer this question? Haven't they talked more about the Lakers more than the Milwaukee Bucks who are the NBA champions? The
next day. Yeah.
There's no respect. There's no respect for Giannis and winning championship. But now when the Lakers won that bubble title last year, they talked about that all season. And they talked about how it wasn't fair for them to have to do a quick turnaround and play the season again because, they just won a championship. And mind you, Miami Heat had the same thing, but nobody brought up the Miami Heat also played in the finals and had to make a quick turnaround too. But they brought up just the Lakers. And when the Toronto Raptors won the title, they said the Warriors, were hurt, which they were, and the Warriors never got to play. Everything came up to being about the Lakers. So ESPN does this, and I am a person that used to watch ESPN a lot. I'm kind of turned off by it because of the constant LeBron talk, and you have those LeBron lovers. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not making it seem like it's just about LeBron, but it honestly, the way they act, it really is. I don't want to sound like a hater. You could call me a hater if you want, I don't care, but I'm not really that impressed with him. And they can constantly talk about this guy every day. I'm telling you, if it's not every day, it's every other day, it's every 2 or 3 days. And after a while, how much more can you talk about? What are you going to talk about next? LeBron went in his backyard and passed gas. I don't like. How much can you keep talking about this guy? It's the off season. It's the off season, and we're talking about this guy more than anybody else. They had a problem. Something happened a week ago or 2 weeks ago where there was an issue because no general manager voted him as the best player in the NBA. That made news. I don't listen, man. I understand LeBron is a good player, one of the all-time greats, but I don't have to hear about him every single day. There's other great young talent in the league that we could talk about, especially the person that just won the NBA title, a 26-year-old Giannis Antetokounmpo. Why do we got to keep talking about this 37-year-old guy? I don't get it. And, ESPN, I call that the LeBron network, to be honest with you. It's ESPN to me. And Paul Pierce is the first person to come out and tell the truth. Like he is. He's the truth. And he's the first person to come out and speak that truth, that all ESPN do is talk about LeBron. He's the first one, and I respect him for it. I don't care what anybody say. All the LeBron fans could come to me and say whatever they want. I don't care. I'm riding with Paul Pierce on this one, and I believe what he said. All ESPN want to do is talk about LeBron.
Yeah. So Malik and Hausa, Bernardo.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much like what Tom was saying, they definitely talk about LeBron a lot. Now, I do get the piece that, they try to focus on stars and big teams, big markets, right? Because they probably feel like that'll draw the most interest, most ratings, right? Because like Tyron said, they talk about the Cowboys a lot. They talk about Tom Brady a lot. They talk about LeBron a lot. And, Paul Pierce was saying, he's not a good fit, which he probably wasn't, because he, like Tyron said, there's some personal stuff between them. Obviously, they had rivalries and series on the court, and they're not each other's biggest fan. We'll just say that. Even if the respect is there, they're not each other's biggest fan. So I could imagine him being in a position where he that the topic is, oh, is LeBron better than this person? Oh, was that Cavs team better than your Celtics team, or the Miami team, better, or all this kinds of stuff. And then he gotta be there, and he could throw his little comments here and there, but they probably might tell him to dial it down some. It could have been things like that. And then him having whatever dynamic of LeBron, I think that factored into it. But I also feel like, yeah, they definitely try to focus on stars. So they definitely talk about LeBron a lot. And they could mix it up more. And I mean, they do touch on some other things when it's a big thing, like, they'll talk about Ben Simmons right now because it's a big deal, like, well, what's going to happen with him, this, that, and the third. But, they do try to make sure they don't go too long without throwing LeBron's name in there. Like I said, I understand it from a business point. Like, obviously, he is still arguably the biggest star in the NBA, and he's a star. He's going to draw attention to the headlines. The Raiders, like you said, people are so, over the top with a lot of stuff that, yeah, like every move he makes, he tweet out this. They talk about other people's tweets too, but it's like where he's at and the perch they kind of prop them up on. Some of it obviously deservingly so. Some of it, is whatever. They're gonna talk about him. So
not to cut you off, but he don't deserve none of that praise, man. I don't care nobody.
I think he deserves some of it.
He don't deserve none of that praise.
They be getting crazy, but I mean, he been around 17 years. He did a little something.
I get all that. I get all that, but he's not all that, man. Yo, just let's not forget, he ain't win a championship till he ran the Wade and Bosch. I'll never forgive him for that. He ain't never earned nothing. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Like, I've always been honest and said a lot of things about him and don't care. Like, I was held. I'm sorry. And this season proves it. He got eliminated in the first round. He got Russell Westbrook, Trevor Ariza, Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard. He's about to get DeAndre Jordan. Like, come on, man. Come on. You got Anthony Davis already. What more you need? He can't help it, man. He can't help it. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm just annoyed by
Nah,
this
it's
guy,
all
man.
good. Yeah,
I'm just
nah,
annoyed by
I mean,
him, man. And I just love the fact Paul Pierce did what he did. I just love it, man.
yeah, and the only thing I'll say too is kind of like you said, because they know that there's a big, strong love-hate thing, so it get people riled up, it get people talking. So I'm sure that's why they be doing it too, for business reasons. It does suck though that sometimes other people don't get the shine or moments or other things that maybe they could deserve or should get. But yeah, it's definitely about the business and about them knowing that it's going to draw those headlines. And LeBron is also, he got a team of people that's connected in many ways. So he know how to control narratives and do what he need to do to keep elevating himself. So yeah, I don't always love that the focus is always that sometimes, but I do understand the business side from ESPN sense. And I mean, I get annoyed with some of the stuff, but I can respect LeBron for trying to control his narrative and elevating himself and all that. But yeah,
my bad, yo, Malik. I'm sorry about that. But yo, shout out to Giannis for winning it the real way, like how Mike and them did it. Shout out to Giannis, man. I ain't even a Bucks fan, but shout out to Giannis who won it the real way. I don't care nobody say. I'm tired of this LeBron James. Let me get off of it. I'm getting hot right now. Let me let y'all talk, man.
All right, go ahead. Austin.
Yeah, like Tyrone been saying this for years. ESPN is like LeBron's channel. I'm not the most known LeBron fan, but this guy, I'm so annoyed with him my damn self. Because every time you put on anything, is either Perkins, Jay Williams, Max Kellerman when he was there, Stephen A, all of them, everything LeBron. Like y'all said, when Giannis won the title, they talked about that for like an hour. And then they talk about, the Lakers. It's like, come on, enough is enough. I wonder what they're going to do when this guy retires and what they're going to talk about then. I can't wait for that day to come anyway, too, because like he's a great player, yes, but I'm sick of him. Every little thing he do, like he goes to his son game, they got to put that on the thing. Like, okay, what? He got time to go to his son game, big deal, okay? I think D-Wade's son is better, but okay, that's another story. But like every little thing he does, everything. The other day on something I was watching, they had on TMZ, he was walking with his wife on the yacht. They got that on the news. It's like, who cares? Like, come on. Like, this guy is like, all right, he's a well-known person. Like, everybody knows about him. Why y'all gotta keep talking about every little thing he does? He's great, yes, but look at his track record. He had to team up with superstars to win. And now they talking about he's GOAT, this, that. Like, come on. Shannon Sharp, another one. I know they not with ESPN too, but he's one of the worst ones too. Him and Perkins, I don't know who's worse between the both of them. Like I'm not gonna say it, but y'all know where I'm going with that. But it's just like, come on, like enough is enough. Like this guy, like, come on. And LeBron too, he loves all this attention. And I don't blame Paul Pierce for saying what he said, because Paul Pierce don't give a damn. And Paul Pierce might be better off going to TNT and try to get a little, part-time little slot there with them. Barkley and Chuck, they and Kenny and Ernie, they don't care what come out. They'll say like it is, no matter who you are. And it was pretty much getting on Ben Simmons today too, but that was hilarious. But LeBron is enough. Like, give people their credit, let people have their shine. It's not always about him. ESPN, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm somewhat fed up too. I'm a fan of the channel, but it's like certain times I'm like, all right, I gotta turn this. Like, it's too much. Too much.
I mean, I haven't been watching them for a while, to be quite honest. Not because of anything else. I just lost kind of interest because it's really nothing popping. But I do agree. I think these narratives that these media outlets be pushing sometimes be kind of crazy. They be talking about individuals sometimes that have nothing to do with the sport. It's just about what this person is doing. And unfortunately, because of LeBron's skill set, and he is a great player, they're really going to ride his coattails until the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? But the NBA is not even preparing for a transition without him, because you talk about him every minute and everything is about LeBron James, this, his team, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And there's no like real criticism. It's always like one of those kind of like minuscule criticism, and then they go to like the praise. So my thing is that at the end of the day, it is unfortunate what happened with Paul Pierce, but like we said, I think the time we was talking, I think he did it on purpose. I think he really didn't want to be there anymore. He wanted to get out of his contract. And he probably just like, you know what, I'm done, man. You know, and we got to give it to people, man. I find it weird, and I'm going to segue a little bit. I find it weird that a lot of these athletes who have retired, who are done playing, they're getting divorced. You know, and some people used to make the joke like, oh, before when you wasn't around, you know, it was fine. You know, wifey was good. She had the money. She's chilling with you. You got to have the few months together. Then you back on the road playing games, and now you divorced. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what goes on with them. So I don't know what happens. I'm not speculating, but I just find it weird that that happened. But Paul Pierce, he got kids. You know, he had a family. Now he's divorced. You know what I'm saying? Now he trying to keep himself together. And sometimes people cope and do different things in different ways. You know what I'm saying? He probably say, you know what? I'm gonna, you know, live the bachelor life, you know what I'm saying, and do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate, but he didn't do anything wrong. And at the time I thought he was married, but then he did tweet out, say, look, I was divorced, I'm enjoying myself. Like Talon said earlier, he's being responsible in a sense. Most of the time you're gonna hang out with people in your circle that you trust and believe that don't got COVID or doing the right thing. So at the end of the day, that's what he was doing. And as Disney owns ESPN and the persona that ESPN trying to have, it didn't rub too well with their image. And if you look at what's going on, Rachel Nichols got the boot. Taylor, she left. You know what I'm saying? And like people have been having these like little disgruntled things about ESPN. The freaking First Take, Max Kellerman about to leave and go do another show, and like Stephen A gonna be by himself. It's like a lot of things that's happening that's changing. And I think this pandemic and all this other stuff like that has been really taking a toll on a lot of people, man. We just don't know what people are going through, what people are dealing with. And at the end of the day, to come to a job, talk about an individual that you competed against, that you almost fought. You know, I think there was an incident when Paul Pierce spit at him or something like that on the bench. I think it was something like that. They were talking about that. And they had wars, which is why when we talked about in the last episode with Ray Allen, how much that treachery hurt the team, because this is some real beef. These dudes are like had beef. And then you go leave your boys, your brothers, and go join the ops. So at the end of the day, you know, him having to do that and say that, it is tough for Paul Pierce to have to go in there and talk about him. And then they're not paying him any respect. And they're laughing at Paul Pierce like he's not a Hall of Famer. Like they really try to like play him. So he was like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm good. You know, my career is intact. And Tom, we can't hear nothing you saying right now, and it's probably good. You probably saying something trash anyway. It ain't got nothing to do with that. We can't hear you, bro. But yeah, so I don't know what that is. There's a matrix joint going on. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, there was some other little honorable mentions that we were going to mention, but I think we can end it there.
NFL season started today.
Yeah, the NFL season right now. The Bucks are playing.
It's exciting.
Cowboys. The
Yeah,
Cowboys just
but
scored a touchdown.
also definitely got to
cooking.
mention.
Yeah,
I know he was inducted technically last year, but shout out to Derek Jeter, man, for finally getting his moment.
Yeah,
and well deserved
Facts.
induction into the Hall of Fame. Screw that writer, whoever who stopped him from being unanimous. Like he's one of those guys. He like it was probably somebody from the Red Sox or something. I don't know,
some Cleveland Indian fan.
Something you know like that, man.
Here y'all go. Here y'all go.
You saw the GOAT Mike turned
he
up.
deserved that unanimous, son. So, but either way, it don't take away from his over moment. It's still a great accomplishment, obviously, and he's still, I think, got the second highest percentage of votes to get in there. So, legendary career, the captain.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, Yankees need to, you know.
That kid need to hire him as a manager. That's an
they should have did that instead of the other joint. But I mean, and I mean, I ain't no Marlins fan or nothing, but at least he's doing his thing now, still in the sport. And I always love Derek Jeter, no matter what. So
one of the best shortstops out there. You know what I'm saying? Better than Garcia Para, better than Alex Rodriguez, even though they were teammates. But, you know, it's what it is. I don't know. But nah, shout out to him, man. Congratulations to him. It's a good thing, man. Like, you know, when these athletes, they work hard, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to accomplish what he have accomplished, 5 rings, you know what I'm saying? It was an integral part of the team. played through injuries, was like the heart and soul of the Yankees. It was part of the old regime moving into the new regime. You know, he was real. Like when you think about the Yankees, there's certain players that you look at, and he's like one there with those legends, like a Mickey Mantle and a Babe Ruth and stuff like that. Like he's up there on that. When you think of like Derek Jeter, you think about the Yankees. I'm happy for him that he was able to spend his whole career with the Yankees and do his thing. They respected him enough not to switch his position when they got A-Rod. Like little things like that, that was really good to see. So I'm happy that he was able to have his moment because, you know, you work hard for that, and to be able to do it for real is a good thing. So I'm happy for him. So God bless him and you know, the captain, you know what I'm saying? It was good to see Mike and Patrick and all the other cats in there supporting him and giving him his shine too. So
yeah, no scandals, no steroid, nothing. None of that stuff with him. Nothing.
Not even no scandals with women. Like he took care of his business. He was very straightforward with it. People respected that too. You know what I'm saying? He was out there living his life. Say, look,
man, I'm tired of all this love for Derek Jeter, man.
Hey, it's a go bag.
About Derek Jeter.
I was waiting for them to be done, but they ain't done yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, man. I mean, who the Cleveland Indians got? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Red Sox, they trade away all their good assets, and the Red Sox trash. But whatever. We that's neither here nor there. We're both in the same kind of predicament this season. So, like, see, hope the Yankees get that wild card and make some noise in the playoffs, even though we lost Cole for a while. But anyway, yeah. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank Tyrone, Menelek, and Hollister for joining me. Happy birthday again to Tyrone and Hollister. Shout out just to everyone. You know what I'm saying? We do appreciate the support. We appreciate, you know, the comments and the feedback. I know not all the time the videos have comments, but I get comments from other people on the side on Instagram where they email me like, oh, I'll show you episodes and stuff, whatever. Appreciate it. Just hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe. It's free.
And share it.
Tell everybody. I mean, share it. Share it with people, man. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to grow the platform and just try to get out there to talk about more different things, man. Give you some different takes from a fan perspective as opposed to controlling takes from these media outlets. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your evening. God bless.